Good morning and welcome in everybody. Before we get into this morning's update, I want to go over what we're seeing transpire here. For anybody who watched the short this morning, at least you were able to get in tune and see what the micro look of this is. Now we'll look at this a little bit farther than just like the 1 day, but we'll look to see for Bitcoin and Ethereum and also XRP where we have to go to avoid a much deeper drop. We know yesterday in the FOMC meeting with the rate cut or rate hike decision, they decided to stay the same. And I firmly believed until Q3 or the end of Q3, which until end of August, well, I suppose end of July, early August, the next rate cut or the next meeting for the FOMC meeting would be where I would expect the possibility finally of doing a rate cut. But I don't think it's going to be 25 basis points. I think it's going to be like 75 basis points or a full 1% drop. And that's going to usher in the quantitative easing along with the rate cut decrease. I think it's going to be a perfect storm for some chaotic events for risk assets. Right now, overnight, again, yesterday we had a push over 105K. I believe it didn't get much higher, but it did get up to about 105,300 range. But again, this looks very bearish. It looks like we formed a rising wedge. And if that falls out, you're looking at 100K, 99K as the low, the mid-tier support. But if that falls, then you're looking at 91,800. And that is the CME gap. And like, if you're still unfamiliar, I'll show you after I do the intro. Good morning. 9:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, June 19th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So the short gets on average in the morning, since I switched up about 2,000 to 2,500 views. The update gets about 800 to 1,200 views. That I do, that's 10 to 15 minutes. So I see the attention span's not quite as long. Or it could be the caveat of people are going to work. They just don't have time in the morning and they're appreciative of that 60-second update early AM now. Then we transition to the morning update as I get back from the gym. As I do an hour every single morning, Monday through Friday. I walk a mile to get there, a mile to get back. I do the recording when I'm close to the gym. And then we do the live at night. There will be an additional short at about noon today when my son's at therapy, probably around 12:15. So a lot of information today. So where is the Bitcoin CME gap at for Bitcoin?
Bitcoin CME gaps are price differences that appear on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME, Bitcoin futures chart. They occur because the traditional CME...
So we can see a notable bearish CME gap was identified between 91,970 and 92,525. This suggests a potential downside target for Bitcoin. But as you can see, there's other levels that have not been filled. There's a gap around 35, 27, and 21K. There's also a gap between 80,670 and 77,930. So I'm only looking at the 91,800 and some change. It keeps, they fluctuated a little bit, but I say 91.8K is the most important level. And like I've said with XRP, Bitcoin, and many others, there are gaps that haven't been filled. So does that mean we go down there after this breakdown? The fact that so many big entities are pushing Bitcoin, the fact that most of the volatility, the upside for Bitcoin is because of Michael Saylor and different companies buying it and actually taking out common stock to make this happen on their own stocks in this market, that's a catastrophic. To me, that can only end one way. And we'll see if this can somehow power out of here. Right now, it's not looking the greatest. Some people think I'm fear-mongering or I'm giving you the fear side of things. I'm giving you the truth. If you look at this as fear or rage, that's on you. I'm telling you the absolute 100% truth. I'm probably the only person in crypto that you watch that told you back in the third week of December that I sold 75% of my crypto because we're about to have a big drop. And we've already had a big drop into altcoins. We've already dropped better than on XRP from that point. Better than 36% right now. So it's not because I'm trying to fearmonger. It's because I'm being honest. And when you share honesty, it'll come across as the contrarian view or people don't want to listen to you. But that's okay. We've done a hell of a job in this community of building up over 44,700 subscribers despite telling the truth. And this doesn't look good to me. I'm going to continue to repeat the same rhetoric I've been. Unless we get some kind of surge of volume, we're going to end up breaking down. There's no way around this. And right now, we should be pulling some kind of liquidity because gold and silver is retracing right now to backtest these moves up. Silver's backtesting the $36 move. And it has to. I mean, we could not break over 36 for a long time. And it makes perfect sense to come up here now and backtest the move. Now, could this be a backtest all the way down to this pattern breakout? It absolutely could be down to $34 if it wants to backtest the entirety. So this should be the moment where we're getting risk off is backtesting. This should absolutely be the moment where risk on, if it was going to have any testicular fortitude here, would do something. But as we can see, we're not finding any strength in volume, even with the breaking down of risk off right now on the back test. What it looks like to me is the trap's been set. They put this higher level of volatility. Yesterday should have gave us all the information we needed when they did not cut rates. And with no quantitative easing, this only looks like it's going to go one way here. Now, they could bring in volume at some point. We could be caught off guard. But even if so, we know where it would go to the up direction. I continuously see these bearish beats. I know a lot of people around on social media, on YouTube, on TikTok, on X, and on all these other platforms are talking about how we're bullish. I disagree vehemently. Hell, I even talked about the liquidation of ALGO a long time ago at around 30 cents and some of these other ones that I really like. When I liquidate out of DGB and some of these other, you should know. You should know. You should just know that where my mind thought process is. And right now, it's not in the bullish tug. Now, we could get out of this, but I'm telling you, the moment if we lose this uptrending support here at 104,300 approximately, we'll give it grace at 104,200 just because. That's going to drop down. That's a rising wedge. That would come down to the first layer support around 100K, 99K. And then once that breaks, then all of a sudden you're looking at that 91,800 level firm. I honestly don't really see a way around this. I really don't see a way around this. I mean, even if I try, I just don't see a way around it. And if we do end up around it, it's probably not for the best. And like the scary part is if that rising wedge breaks down the larger one, because I'm talking about the shorter wedge that can bring us down. The larger rising wedge has a technical target of 61,000 area. That's the back test of the cup and handle breakout. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin broke all the way down to that level. We never back tested it on the breakout, which is always a cause for concern. We could put an inverse right shoulder at 91,800, but I am petrified of us coming down there. Because a lot of these fundamentals, they're not in our favor right now. But the good news is we've been holding this area for a little time, but sometimes it's just an exaggerated hold of momentum because then it's easier to trap more of the space. Ethereum continues to not be able to build any kind of positive momentum. In fact, getting rejected once again in the last couple of days in this area to the point now to where we're below the 20-day and now we're teasing the 200-day. In the 4-hourly, we're below the 20-day. Now we're teasing breaking below the 200-day with the 4-hour reversal on Ethereum. This could get ugly and ugly quick. There's simply too many people that are bullish. And we did a study yesterday during the live. 27 people, when I went back and looked, said that they would buy. 6 said that they would short. So in my opinion, shorting would be the way to go just because the public perception is still too bullish. It's a great way to look at an overall case study of the general public having 47,700 people, or what is it, 40, maybe not 47,000, I don't know, 44,700, yeah, 44,700 people. It's a good way to have a case study. But like the videos, doing fine, but like whenever I do an update, the videos are getting 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200 views. If I do a short, more people are inclined to watch. 2,500, 1,700, 1,300, 12. Even when I did a bunch of them in one day. When I do the lives, some inclination, but 1,000 views roughly. But for some reason, more people like the shorts. I like to come in, see it for 60 seconds, and then be on the way. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. These are my thoughts this morning. I want to leave you with that. I want to know what you think in the comments. I want to know what you think is going to happen overall. and please let me know. Make sure you pay attention to Bitunix on these drops if you're trying to swing trade, leverage trade, put in a short, or just trying to find the proper functionality for when we do have these further drops if and when they happen. Join Bitunix, the lowest spot and leverage trading fees worldwide. It's like a cheat code. You can literally swing trade short and do all this stuff for the cheapest fees. You're always going to have to pay some in leverage trading depending on how much leverage you're taking out, how much money you're using. But on spot, the swing trading is minute. I did a $15,000 trade and it cost me like 12 bucks. It's like cheating. Join the Telegram if you want extra exposure. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal if you want to send a donation outside of YouTube. You can send a super chat if you want to show support, or join Tom's Army to pay it forward, as I've been doing this since March 24th, 2021. I have not missed a single day in over 4.5 years. I do it every single day on routine. And then if you want to show some support, you can join Tom's Army, since I put all the content out for free if you'd like to pay it forward and make it worth my time, even though it's always worth my time, whether there's monetary donations or not. This month's been a very slow month on donations, probably in the bottom third of the year, which is fine. I'm doing very well outside of donations with just regular trading, but it is always nice to feel the love and support from others who find and understand how much time I actually put in here out of my own goodwill. Have a blessed day, everybody.